dito ako maglalagay ng trail stop. Kung dito na yung price, dito ako maglalagay ng trail stop or pwede na ako mag-take profit kasi alam ko ng 5 weeks. So, nangyari na tong analysis na to. Ayan. Nag-update pa yata ako kahapon nito dito. Hindi ko alam kung na-send ko or basta si Angda lang naman madalas maghingi sa akin ng ng Confluence. Tapos ito.
Yun ata yung last.
Ito na yung last. Ito yung inaasahan na aangat muna ng isa tapos gagawa ng wave 4 tapos babagsak. Ito yung nasa luma dito. Ngayon, ganun na nga yung nangyari. Bumagsak, 3 tapos 4. Yung 4 ang first line of defense. Kaya ito yung gagamitin kong invalidation or possible basis for my SL kasi nga sa Elliott wave theory, one of the cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory is that wave 4 should not go beyond the territory of wave 1. Kung titingnan natin yung actual price niyan ngayon, nag-breakout na nga. Yan o. Ito yung bearish first line of defense. Kaya tumuloy talaga siya. Nirespect niya itong bearish first line of defense na to, which is, imagine nandito pa lang yung price action during that time. So ni-respect niya nga even this one, hindi niya tinig. Tapos bumagsak siya hanggang doon, which is in-expect ko naman na around this level or yung tinatawag nating bullish call plus line of defense. So nagkaroon ng good reaction. Sa ngayon, ang next question na dito would be, reversal na ba? Ang sagot ko, bibigyan tayo ng at least 3 waves up niyan to confirm whether it's really a reversal or not. Pag sinabi kong at least 3 waves, bibigyan tayo ng ito. Halimbawa, assuming A, B, C lang muna siya. Yan ang approach ko sa market, especially if I'm trying to catch a reversal. Kasi kung yan talaga ay reversal na, ang gagawin niya 5 waves. Pero kung hindi ka pa sure, okay, kung hindi pa sure na reversal, then treat it as 3 waves lang ang ibibigay muna sa'yo. So in this case, ang ipoproject ko lang muna is ay 3 waves. Yan. So, dito na pumapasok yung refinement ko na tine-check ko siya sa 1 minute time frame kung itong wave A ba na to is completed na para maghanap ako ng scalp short dito going to wave B. Tapos, going to wave C naman along. So, ito from 1 hour time frame, change ko sa 45 minutes. Pero maghanap muna ako ng mga possible point of reversal. Kanina nakita ko na to. Actually, na-trade ko siya. While listening sa taas, nagtitrade ako personally. Ito. So, 1 hour time frame, nakahanap ako ng implied fair value gap. This is one of my entry models. Mas gusto ko ang implied fair value gap compared to regular FPG, inverse FPG, or even order blocks. Statistically, may explanation ako dyan. In this case, it's the H1. Actually, it's a snipe entry. Kasi kung titingnan natin maigi, itong implied fair value gap na to, 95.16. Kung titingnan natin yung tinest niya na price, naririnig pa naman ako, no? Baka mamaya hindi. Okay, good. Yan. Kung titingnan nyo maigi, yung implied fair value gap na H1 is 0.9515. Yung implied fair value gap is 0.9516. So, napaka-snipe ng entry, 0.0001 lang yung difference. And then, nag-take profit na kasi ako, inaasahan ko ito yung magiging bullish first line of defense. Okay. So, kaso nabasag na siya. Bakit ko sinabing ito yung bullish first line of defense ko? Change ko lang ng lower time frame. May mga implied fair value gap na pwede din sa continuation entry. Bibigyan ko kayo mamaya ng tip kung paano ko gamitin yung implied fair value gap as an entry model for trend continuation tapos saan ang possible SL. In this case, kaya ko nilagyan to ng linya dito as bearish first line of defense kasi itong count na to, pwede siyang wave 1 ito, wave 2, ito pwedeng i-assume na wave 3. Kaso kung i-assume ko to na wave 3, sorry. Pwede kong i-assume na wave, ito yung assume ko na wave 3, ito yung wave 4, tapos ito yung gagawin kong wave 5. Acceptable naman siya to complete the internal waves, yung inaasahan kong analysis from this one, ending diagonal. Kaso, kinonsider ko rin kasi hindi masyadong klaro sa akin tong price action na to kanina. Kinonsider ko rin na baka ito ay wave 3 lang. Itong ginagawa dito ay wave 4. Bakit? Kasi ito, kung titingnan ko maigi yung internal waves niya, pwedeng ito wave 1, 2, 3. Tapos itong ginagawa dito, pwedeng wave 4, tapos wave 5. Wait lang baguhin ko lang yung degree para mas makita. Although na-trade ko siya ng long, nag-take profit kaagad ako. Sayang nga yung entry ko maganda-ganda sana. Nag-take profit ako kasi kinonsider ko tong structure na to. Kung titingnan itong pag ganito, dapat at least 5 waves. Kaso hindi naging at least 5 waves Pwedeng ito truncated na tinatawag. Sa Elotrade theory, yung truncated is that yung wave 5 hindi na go beyond or hindi na sweep yung high ng wave 3. At ito possible truncation to or truncated siya. It will only be confirmed kapag na-break na tong wave 2 price dito sa higher degree count. So, with that being said, since na-hit na itong price ng wave 2, then therefore this can be interpreted as 1, 2, tapos ito yung magiging 3, ito yung magiging 4, ito yung magiging 5. So therefore, ito pwedeng i-consider as possible reversal, pero para sa pag-iingat lang na kung ito ba talaga ay possible reversal, mas maganda na i-treat muna natin as not as 5 waves up, but instead 3 waves up. Anyway, regardless whether this one is 3 waves up or 5 waves up, almost same structure pa rin naman yan ang bibigay niyan. Ang kagandahan lang pag i-confirm na natin kung 5 waves up, kung nag-bounce si Aster sa price ng wave 1, which is this possible wave A, tapos gumawa ng high, kahit konting kahit konting taas lang dito, or konting break lang, or market structure shift dito, magkaroon ng market structure shift or MSS, then i-continue ko na yung 5 waves up na counting. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo minsan, kapag halimbawa na-confirm ko na na-break to, itong level na to, tapos tiningnan ko yung internal wave counts, halimbawa pinakita pa lang, ay isang wave pa lang. Ang gagawin ko dyan, hahanapan ko na siya ng entry. Assuming na dito pa lang ang price action, assuming nandito pa lang, na-break niya na to, na-break niya na dito, tapos hindi pa yung, na-break niya na to, tapos ginagawa pa lang yung wave 3. So hahanap ako ng entry model na close to the price of the wave 1 using wave 2 as my invalidation or my SL. So ito na yung medyo aggressive entry. Kaya yung ibang price action traders, especially yung mga breakout traders, ginagawa nila, nag-e-entry sila sa breakout. After kasi mag-breakout niyan dito banda, halimbawa, na yun. Halimbawa, nagkaroon ng breakout. Pag nagka-breakout kasi yan dito, for sure, i-retest yung horizontal support. At doon na pumapasok yung mga BOBO traders, buy on breakout traders. Hindi bobo na literal Ang tawag kasi namin ng mga tropa ko diyan sa mga buy on breakout traders, BOBO. Pero hindi namin tinatawag na bobo. Yung strategy lang nila, kumbaga buy on BO tapos breakout BO. So, ang ginagawa ng mga buy on breakout traders, antayin muna nila na magkaroon ng breakout dito sa resistance. Tapos hanap sila ng, usually nire-retest naman yung horizontal resistance na yan. Pagkabalik dito banda, or pwedeng sa Malaysian SNR tawag dito ay ay flip, SNR flip. So pagka breakout dito banda, tapos wave 1 pa lang tong pinapakita dito, then I will find an entry close to the price of wave 1 using wave 2 as my SL. Tapos, kukompletuhin ko yung papuntang wave 5. Kasi sa Elliott wave theory, nakikita nyo naman siguro na yung market is really moving fractally. Fractally meaning yung 5 waves up sa higher time frame can also be seen in the lower time. Yung 5 waves na yun can also be seen in the lower time frame. So as of now, ano na yung situation ni Aster in terms of ABC? Ulitin ko, ititreat ko muna siya as ABC, not as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way, hindi ako magiging greedy. Kasi yung iba, para lang patunayan siguro sa ibang traders or lalong-lalo na kapag may nagko-call ng public, ginagawa ng iba, hindi nila tinatake profit. Halimbawa, sabi na, okay, nag-entry ako dito, 5 waves up na yan. Para lang patunayan na tama sila, hindi sila na-take profit dito sa wave C. Kaso, kung Elliott wave theory pinag-uusapan, hindi naman ganon. May times na baka mamaya mali yung counting mo dito, yung downtrend na to, tapos instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 na yung next, ang aasahan mo lang pala dapat ay ABC. So, kung hindi ka greedy na trader, doon ka lang muna sa conservative TP, which is 3 waves up or ABC. Saka mo na i-consider itong 5 waves up. Siguro pwede ka mag-trail stop. Kung nasalo mo to, halimbawa nasalo mo dito, pwede ka mag-trail stop. Pag trail stop mo dito, alam mo naman na ang magkakaroon ng at least ang wave 2 kasi magre-retrace siya. Assuming this is the wave A already Kung assuming na ang in-expect mo is 5 waves up, then therefore, ang gagawin mo ay hahanap ka dito sa golden zone or yung retracement PRC or price reversal zone ng wave B or wave 2, and which is the 0.5, 0.618 and 0.786. Pagkatapos niyan, pagka-entry mo dito, take profit ka lang muna dito sa wave C. Pero kung gusto mong i-hold kasi gusto mong patunayan halimbawa sa ibang traders o nag-call ka in public halimbawa na tataas yan 5 waves, okay. Kung gusto mong patunayan na ganon, be a smart trader. Huwag mong hayaang lamunin ka ng ego mo na or ng ego mo na para lang para may pang before and after ka lang, hindi ka nag-take profit dito tapos nagkaroon ng reversal, nagkamali ka sa counting mo dito. So ang nangyari, take picture lang ang ginawa mo, hindi na take profit. So ganun ang maging approach. Antayin natin makompleto tong wave A. Pwede ko naman makonfirm yun kung kompleto na yung wave A. Tapos hahanap tayo dito ng possible retracement for wave B. Pero ang tanong, tapos na nga ba ang wave A? Sa Elliott wave theory, meron tinatawag, dapat hanap lang ako ng trade Sa bagay, hindi pa naman nangyayari. Sa Elliott wave theory, itong wave A na tinatawag natin is composed of the following internal waves. Halimbawa, meron ka ditong i-assume muna natin na ABC lang up na bounce. Yung wave A na to, dapat meron siyang internal waves na 5 waves up. 5 waves up for a regular zigzag. Tapos yung wave B is 3 waves down. Yan, 3 waves down. Tapos pagdating sa wave C, 5 waves up. So yan yung magiging structure ng zigzag. Now na na-explain ko na sa inyo yung structure ng zigzag, 5 waves up for wave A, tapos 3 waves down for wave B. So mamaya, asahan natin kapag ito kompleto na si wave A, 3 waves pababa. Tapos aangat na naman ng 5 waves. So pag nasalo natin itong wave B, hintayin natin matapos yung, huwag kayong mag-chicken out at hintayin natin matapos itong 5 waves up. Kasi kung Elliott wave theory ang pag-usapan, bibigyan tayo ng at least mini 5 waves up. Since this is 15 seconds time frame, it may take the day, parang pwede siyang maging intraday trade. Anyway, explain ko rin sa inyo mamaya yung intraday bias ko kay BTC. Hininga naman ako ng confluence kahapon, nailapag ko na pero hindi ko binigay yung lower time frame yata. But I was expecting a bounce from yesterday's dump, at least 3 waves up. At yun din yung basis ko for finding long for Aster. Anticipate ako na at least 3 waves up base sa internal wave counts ng Bitcoin. So now let me proceed to the lower time frame to confirm whether wave A is already completed or not. Dito na yung medyo matatagalan kasi I have to refine my entry, so I need to go to the lower time frame. Let me just think out loud, so perhaps baka mamaya magulat kayo bakit ganun ang sinasabi ko, kasi sometimes the reason why I don't usually use the microphone aside from the health of my throat is that when I'm live trading, baka mamaya may masabi akong expression na hindi kayo sanay, kasi most of the time I'm very formal even in teaching or even in my chats, kasi nagkataon siguro na ganun ako, ganun yung upbringing ko. So pero of course may mga expression naman, pero hindi naman ako yung expression ko hindi naman ganun kasakit, masakit pakinggan. Parang parang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, baka ang tanga-tanga mo, bakit hindi mo naisip kaagad yun? Parang ganun. Sometimes I talk to myself, especially when I'm doing live trading. So,
Parang ako, butik na yan.
di ba? Nagti-think out loud ka. May ganun din akong moments, of course. Hindi ka siguro trader kung wala kang ganung moment. So, going back to the analysis, tingnan natin. This could be a leading diagonal. Bakit ko sinabing leading diagonal? Kasi 3 waves lang yung wave A, wave 1, 3 waves lang din yung wave 3, tapos 3 waves lang din yung wave 5. So ito, pwede natin siyang i-consider as leading diagonal. So kung i-mark ko to using the motive wave, ganito ang kalalabasan. Tatanggalin ko na lang yung lines para hindi nakakalito tingnan. So this could be the leading diagonal wave 1 of the wave A. Wave 1 of the wave A. So itong structure na to, yung leading diagonal, may dalawang klase kasi ng leading diagonal. Although na-explain ko na yon before dito, let me just explain it again para naiintindihan nyo yung analysis ko kung sakasakali mang i-consider nyo. So may dalawang type ng motive wave ang Elliott wave theory. One is impulsive motive wave. Hindi ko nga pala ni-record tong session na to. Usually nire-record ko. Dapat trade lang hanapin ko eh. Pero parang ang hirap kasi para sa akin, lalo na kapag may gustong sumunod or i-consider yung analysis ko, baka mamaya sundan, hindi naman naintindihan. I'd rather educate people than follow my calls without understanding it. Impulsive, tapos yung isa diagonal. Diagonal motive wave. In Elliott wave theory, there are two types of waves. One is motive, and the other one is corrective. Now, in a motive wave, it is labeled with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves ang motive wave, and there are two types of motive wave. One is impulsive motive wave, and the other one is diagonal motive wave. What's the difference between the two? Impulsive motive wave, wave 4 will only retrace above the territory of wave 1. Kaya tinatawag to sa Elliott wave theory na 3 cardinal rules. Let me just, for your information, unang ginamit na term ni Ralph Nelson Elliott is not really impulsive. Ang ginamit niya is cardinal wave. Kung gagamitin na natin yung literal meaning ng cardinal, parang sinasabi natin strict rules ng Elliott wave theory. Parang pag sinabi kasing cardinal, dapat yun lang ang masunod. But to be honest, it's not really the literal meaning of the word cardinal motive wave or cardinal word. Ang ang una kasing ginawa ni sa first published book ni Ralph Nelson Elliott, ang ginamit niya na term, instead of impulsive, modern term na to eh. Ang ginamit niya is cardinal. Kaya may 3 cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory. Dapat masatisfy niya yon yung 3 cardinal rules na yon for it to be considered impulsive motive wave. Ano yon? Una, dapat si wave 2 hindi mag-retrace sa territory ng wave 0. Okay. Kasi pag nag-retrace siya sa territory ng wave 0, invalidated na yung analysis or yung motive wave. That's the first rule. Dapat si wave 2, pakitanda niya ang wave 2 hindi pwedeng lumagpas sa territory ng wave 0. The second rule of Elliott wave the second cardinal rule of Elliott wave theory is that si wave 3 must not be the shortest. So kung gagawa yan ng motive wave, dapat si wave 3 hindi pinakamaliit. Pwede siyang second to the shortest but not the shortest. Yun yung rule, second rule. Wave 3 must not be the shortest. So in this case, kung susukatin natin yan gamit ng price range, si wave 1 is 1.48, si wave 3 is 3.10, tapos si wave 4 or si wave 5 is 1.92. In this case, wave 3 is the longest among the 3 waves, so therefore valid to as an impulsive motive wave based on the first and second cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory. Now, the third cardinal rule of Elliott wave theory is that wave 4 should not retrace beyond the territory of wave 1. Ulitin ko, wave 4 should not retrace beyond the territory of wave 1. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, sa analysis ko, instead of using the rules of Elliott wave theory, ang ginagamit ko na lang ay itong term. Bakit? Mas nadali kasi siyang maintindihan pag ito yung ginamit kong term. Ang gagamitin ko na lang term is bullish first line of defense and last line of defense. Pero actually, yun ay invalidation lang ng Elliott wave theory. Pero kung if you're not an Elliottian, madali lang matandaan kapag sinabi ko, yan yung first line of defense, nakikita ko nga ngayon, natutuwa ako, may mga nakikita ko analysis, nilalagyan na nila ng first line of defense, last line of defense. Yung idea ng first line of defense and last line of defense is actually based on the rules of Elliott wave theory, which is the cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory. Bakit first line of defense ko itong wave 1? Kasi sabi sa Elliott wave theory or cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory, wave 4 should not go beyond the territory, should not overlap the territory of wave 1. Kapag nag-overlap na yung wave 4 sa territory ng wave 1, ang tawag doon ay hindi na impulsive motive wave. Dito na pumapasok yung diagonal motive wave. So in other words, kapag nagpo-project ako ng 5 waves up, especially if it is just the reversal, meron akong bullish first line of defense and last line of defense. Bakit? Kasi yung wave na yon pwedeng impulsive at pwedeng diagonal motive wave. Kaya ang ginagawa ko, hindi ako nag-ilalagay ng SL sa bullish first line of defense. Kasi unang-una, hindi ko pa naman confirm kung siya ay impulsive motive wave. Kung confirm ko na siya ay impulsive motive wave, di ilalagay kong SL dito sa wave 1 territory. Kaso hindi ko pa sure kung first 2 waves pa lang nakikita ko. So ilalagay ko muna initially yung aking SL sa price territory ng wave 2. Yan, initially. Tapos pag nag-break na dito, parang sinabi kong approach kanina, kapag nag-breakout na dito, buy on breakout, na breakout tapos nag-retest sa horizontal support or nagkaroon ng MSS or breakout structure, then saka na ako mag-a-adjust ng SL ko kapag lumipad na, halimbawa nag-continue siya, nagkaroon na siya ng impulsive movement for wave 3. So doon ko na i-adjust yung SL ko which is initially placed here, nilalagay ko na siya sa wave 2. That way, kung dito man ako naka-entry halimbawa, may positive gain na ako, 'di ba? Tapos considering kung talagang ito na yung kung siya ay impulsive motive wave, then dapat hindi balikan yung wave 1. But I will only adjust my SL within or at the exact price of wave 1, pero wag dapat exact kasi not all brokers have the same, or rather not broker but platform, crypto platform have the same price. So if you're using different platform, pwedeng mag-iba yung actual price. So bigyan nyo ng breathing space, wag eksakto. Tapos after nun, ilalagay ko na dito kapag nagkaroon ng breakout dito, and then kapag nagsimula ng mag-retrace tong from wave 3 to wave 4, since pa-reversal pa lang to, hindi i-consider kung mag-take profit muna. Bakit? Kung siya ay hindi naging impulsive at naging diagonal siya, ang invalidation ng diagonal is the flood or itong price ng wave 2. So kung dito ako naka-entry tapos hindi ako nag-take profit, pwedeng balikan pa yung entry ko. Ito na yung sinasabi ko na conservative, mas maganda mag-take profit sa wave 3. Anyway, most of the time, itong difference ng peak ng wave 3 at peak ng wave 5, hindi naman ganong kalaki ang difference niya unless talagang bullish ang sobrang bullish na ng market. In an organic movement ng market, the price of wave 3 and the price of wave 5 is usually small difference lang. So, if that is the case, dito ka na lang mag-take profit. Malay mo, makasalo ka pa sa wave 4 kung sakasakaling mag-impulsive motive wave siya. Now, ulitin ko, sa Elliott wave theory, may dalawang types ng wave. Motive wave, ibig sabihin 5 waves, corrective waves, usually 3 waves. Tapos, si motive wave may dalawang types of motive wave. One is impulsive and the other one is diagonal motive wave. Kapag impulsive motive wave, may 3 rules na dapat tandaan or 3 cardinal rules na dapat tandaan. Wave 2, hindi pwedeng lumagpas sa territory ng wave 0. Second cardinal rule, si wave 3 hindi pwedeng pinakamaikli. Pwede siyang pangalawa sa pinakamaikli pero hindi siya pwede ang pinakamaikli. And then third cardinal rule, si wave 4 dapat hindi mag-retrace beyond the territory or mag-overlap sa territory ng wave 1. Kapag nag-overlap, diagonal motive wave yun. The other two cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory can also be applied in diagonal motive wave, wherein wave 3 must not be the shortest, wave 2 should not go beyond the territory of wave 1, pero ang kaibahan lang nila, yung isang rule lang na violate ni diagonal motive wave is that wave 4 retraces beyond the territory of wave 1. With that being said, dito na tayo ngayon. Malapit naman to eh. Malapit na magkaalaman. Ito is a type of diagonal wave. Pero ang structure niya is not the usual 333. Kasi itong diagonal motive wave, may dalawa siyang types din. May 2 types of diagonal wave. Yung isa is regular na internal waves na ay 5 waves. Pag sinabi kong 5 waves, I'm referring to the internal waves of wave 1. Dapat ito 5 waves yan. Yan. Dapat 5 waves yan. Ganon din si wave 2 to 3. Dapat 5 waves yan. By the way, dapat walang diagonal motive wave sa wave 3. Hindi pwede yon. Ang diagonal wave can only be found at the first wave or the fifth wave. Ang tawag natin doon, kapag sa first wave nakita, leading diagonal. Kapag sa last wave nakita, ending diagonal. Now, there are times wherein the internal waves of the diagonal motive wave is not 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. Kasi may 2 types of structure ang diagonal motive wave. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 or pwede ring 3, 3, 3, 3 or 5 sets of 3s. So in other words, ito, instead of counting the wave 1 as 5 waves up, ika-count mo lang siya as, dapat ABC pala. 3 waves up, like this one. 3 waves up for wave 1, tapos 3 waves up for wave 2, 3 waves up for wave 3, 3 waves down for wave 4, and then 3 waves up for wave 5. So itong pinakita ko sa lower time frame is not a 5-3-5-3-5 structure, but instead, it's a 3-3-3-3 structure. Bakit siya 3-3-3 structure? Wala namang clear na 5 waves para sa wave 1. Yan o. Walang klarong 5 waves para sa wave 1. Wala ding clear 5 waves para sa wave 3. Ito magiging diagonal kung ititreat mo siya as impulsive motive wave. Which is, sabi ko, it will violate the impulsive motive wave. Dapat, ang internal waves ng, regardless whether it's diagonal, yung internal waves kapag 5-3-5-3-5 counting mo dito, dapat ito, si wave 4, hindi mag-overlap sa territory ng wave 1. Kapag sa wave 3. Kaya minsan sinasabi ko kay Angda, hindi valid kasi yung internal waves ng wave 3 niya, minsan, si wave 4 nag-go beyond the territory of wave 1. Which is not, will not follow the strict rules of wave counting and measurement. So, now na alam natin to na ito ay leading diagonal. Ito, leading diagonal siya. Usually, pag nakita nyo yung nilagyan ko ng ganito, tapos hindi siya contracting triangle or inverse symmetrical triangle, leading diagonal ang itong ganito. So, kung ito ay leading diagonal as possible first wave, dapat magkaroon ng impulsive wave 3. Kasi kung ititreat ko to as the possible wave 1 of our, kung ititreat ko siya as possible wave 1 of our wave A, then dapat itong wave 3 na to, magkaroon siya ng 5 internal waves dapat na impulsive. Pag sinabi kong impulsive, ulitin ko, ayan o, ang wave 3, recall natin ulit, ang wave 3 dapat hindi mag-retrace yung wave 4 sa territory of wave 1. Kasi ulitin ko, ang diagonal motive wave, saan lang makikita? Sa leading diagonal or ending diagonal. Kaya dalawa lang yan. Leading diagonal or ending diagonal. Wala naman sinabing middle diagonal. Kasi hindi pwede magkaroon ng diagonal sa wave 3. So dito, titingnan natin kung nagkaroon ba tayo ng impulsive wave 3. Para magkaroon tayo ng clear structure. Kung ititrade nyo man to, naintindihan nyo kasi in-explain ko, tapos tingnan din natin kung nasunod nyo yung rules ng Elliott wave theory. Tingnan natin ngayon, ito yung possible wave 1. Wave 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, pasok. 3, 4, and then 5. Wait lang tanggalin natin yung mga linya para hindi nakakalito tingnan. No, kung titingnan natin maigi, pasok naman siya as impulsive wave 3. Bakit? Tingnan natin maigi. Baguhin ko muna tong counting na to. Ay, degree I mean. Ano ba? 1, 2, 3, tapos 4, 5. Tingnan natin kung impulsive motive wave nga ba yung nandito sa wave 3. Hindi kasi pwedeng maging diagonal. Ito, klarong wave 1. Ito yung wave 2. Wave 3. Wave 4. Actually, pwedeng pa wave 5 ba lang to. Tingnan na lang natin mamaya. Okay. Balik tayo sa cardinal rules of Elliott wave theory. Anong sabi kanina? Si wave 2 hindi pwedeng mag-retrace sa territory ng wave 0. May invalidate yun. Satisfied ang first cardinal rule of Elliott wave theory. Second cardinal rule of Elliott wave theory. Wave 3 must not be the shortest. So bilangin natin or isukatin natin. Si wave 1 is 1.83. Si wave 2 to wave 3 is 1.84. Muntik nang ma-invalidate or ma-violate yung rule ng wave 3 should not be the shortest. Pero okay lang yun kung dalawa pa lang yung kinukumpara mo. Yung wave 5, dapat, assuming wave 3 is the shortest among wave 1 and wave 3. Pero dapat si wave 5, I repeat, assuming si wave 3 is the shortest among wave 1 and wave 3, dapat si wave 3 hindi yung hindi mas malaki or mas mataas kumpara sa wave 3. Kung tingnan natin ngayon, to confirm, si wave 5 here, in this case, internal waves ng wave 3, is the largest among the three. In this case, si wave 3 is 1.84, si wave 1 naman is 1.83. So, hindi niya pa rin na-violate yung rule ng Elliott wave theory or cardinal rule of Elliott wave theory wherein wave 3 must not be the shortest. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na pwedeng si wave 3, assuming si wave 3 ay dito lang banda, 1.80, si wave 1 is 1.83. Pero dapat si wave 5 mas mababa sa length ng wave 3. So dapat kung 1.80 lang to, dapat hindi siya yung wave 5 mo dito hindi aakyat ng 1.80 or else mag-recount ka na naman nun kasi na-violate niya yung rule. So yun lang yung approach. Objective yung approach, yung sinasabi ko sa inyong lahat ay based on the rules of Elliott wave theory. Now, kung tatanungin nyo ako kung tapos na ba itong wave 3 dito, itong naka-parenthesis wave 3 dito, I don't think na tapos na. Bakit? Wait lang Kasi, kung titingnan kong maigi itong uptrend na to, itong uptrend na to, baguhin ko lang yung degree para maintindihan nyo. Kung bibilangin kong internal waves ng wave 4 to wave 5, dapat 5 waves up din. So sa ngayon, ito yung wave 1, klarong wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Ito is just part of the wave 4. So hindi pa tapos ang internal waves na to ng fifth wave of the encircled wave 3. So kung ako ang kung lalagyan natin to ng scalp bullish first line of defense and last line of defense, which is actually the invalidation of the Elliott wave theory, then maghahanap ako ng entry above first line of defense. Tapos gagamitin kong scalp lang to Lagyan ko ng scalp. Baka mamaya kasi i-misinterpret nyo. In-explain ko na nga maigi para maintindihan nyo kung ano yung basis ng analysis ko. My apologies kung hindi ko muna tinitingnan yung chat para lang matuloy-tuloy. Kasi malapit na yung reversal Ang hanap ko talaga trade, hindi talaga magturo sa ngayon. Pero anyway, ayoko namang magpasabay nang hindi nyo naiintindihan yung thought process ko on why I will take this trade. So, ito, hahanap ako ng entry considering this as my bullish scalp first line of defense and last line of defense. So kung may mahanap kayo dyan, gamitin yung entry model nyo. Kung may mahanap kayong entry model, pwedeng check nyo yan sa different time frames, scan nyo lang different time frame. Kung may mahanap kayong model, take it. Anyway, kung calculated risk, assuming na dito ka nag-take, nasa 0.88 risk lang naman yan. Huwag ka lang mag-high leverage kasi kung mag-500 leverage ka, kung pwede si Aster ng 500 leverage, 1% is equivalent to negative 500 PNL. Pero kung gagamitin mo dito, halimbawa, naka-entry ka dito, tapos ito yung SL mo, ma-SL man yan, tapos gumamit ka ng 100 leverage, that would be 70% negative PNL. But as of now, allow me to switch to my account. I'll try to trade this. Kung ma-SL, at least mababa lang yung risk. Once na ma-break na tong last line of defense dito, ang tawag na, pwede na nating i-terminate tong fifth wave dito at i-consider ko to as truncated fifth. Sa Elliott wave theory, pag sinabing truncated fifth ito, pag sinabing truncated fifth, yung fifth wave, hindi niya na-break yung territory ng wave 3. So truncated. So ibig sabihin parang hindi niya na-sweep yung wave 3. So I will only consider this as truncated kapag na-hit na yung last line of defense. So basically, objective yung approach ko sa market. Hindi ko binabase kung ano yung hula-hula ko lang. Binabase ko siya sa strict rules of Elliott wave counting and measurement. So tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari dito. Kapag na-break, truncated fifth, that means I will switch my scalp bias from 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 what do you call this? From scalp long to scalp short. Kasi after ng fifth wave na to, magkakaroon ng retracement. Tapos yung magiging bullish first line of defense na natin and last line of defense will be the price of this wave to here. This one. And the price of wave 1. So ito na yung magiging higher degree bullish flood and load if ever mag-fail tong scalp last line of defense at first line of defense natin. So that way, objective yung approach, calculated yung risk. Kung may SL man, na-explain ko sa inyo maigi kung ano yung basis ng analysis. Kung ano yung target dito, kaya na bahala kung ano yung gusto nyong target. Usually, mga liquidities naman are the weeks of or the previous highs and lows. Pero sa akin kasi, if I will base it on my personal trading system, my way is different from the usual way. Actually, most of my ways are different from the usual Elliotian simply because I have integrated some of my research findings in my trading system. There's what we call standard deviation way, which is a standard deviation trading, which is plotted the ICT way. Mine is not the ICT way, it's the EW way, wherein I plot my waves, the standard deviations 1 and 0 sa first wave, sa origin at sa first wave ko, wave 01. So ang magiging target ko dito, if ever mag-play out to, will be at negative 2 to negative 2.5. So just in case ang risk natin is less than 1%, tapos nakuha tong negative 2 level na to, then that would give us a 1 is to or a 5R or 4RR trade. This is one, rather not 4R but 5RR trade. This is one. The reward is 5. So it's up to you kung gusto niyo i-consider, but I will personally trade this. Na-in-explain ko namang maigi kung ano yung possible situation. Once na ma-hit tong flood, do not hesitate to change your bias from bullish to bearish scalp kasi na-explain ko naman yung rules ng Elliott wave theory. Kung tinake nyo na kagaya ng pag-market ko kanina dito, meron na kayong significant gain ngayon, which is ilang percent? Naka 1% na ba tayo? 0.73. So kung naka 100 PNL kayo, 73 na ang PNL nyo. So imagine, ang risk mo is 0.73 lang din yata. 0.48 nga lang kung tinake mo na yan. Nagkaroon ka ng 0.73 ng mabilisan. Quick scalp lang yun. How much more kung umabot pa siya sa conservative target ko, which is 1.0296. Ayun. So I hope na intindihan niyo yung sinabi kong yung thought process ko on why I will take the trade. Kayo na bahala kung meron kayong personalized what they call this, personalized risk management. May question si Pouring Line. Sabi ni Pouring Line, bakit statistical hindi siya IFBG. Ang IFBG kasi is inverse fair value gap. Yung implied fair value gap, IMFBG. Actually, ako lang gumawa ng abbreviation na yon. Statistically, kasi, explain ko ba yung dapat dito? Isa sa yan sa mga ginagatekeep ko. Anyway, this is for public sharing. So, allow me to answer. I don't want you to be to leave you hanging with that question. Bakit ko sinasabi na ang IFBG ang mas gusto ko at bakit siya statistical? Madali lang naman siyang malaman kung siya statistical or not. Sige, hide natin muna to. Lagay natin ang implied fair value gap. Hanap ako ng implied fair value gap. Kanina may entry ako dito sa 1 hour time frame, which is this one. Sayang nga in-out ko, mas maganda sana yung gain ko. Anyway, it's okay. Kaya ko namang hanapan pa ng entry yan. So if my target is around here, if the implied fair value gap is around here, bakit ko sinasabing statistical? Let me explain it in a manner na maintindihan niya ng ordinary kahit hindi involved sa statistics. Para maintindihan, lagyan natin ng volume profile. Si volume profile is somehow similar to the standard normal distribution. Pag sinabi natin, or yung normal distribution, lagyan natin volume profile. Now, si volume profile na to, ayan. Si volume profile na to, meron tinatawag na center of distribution. Pero kung ginamit mo yung volume profile ng trading, ang tawag dito sa center of distribution, since hindi naman normalized yung data dito, is the point of control. Tapos, bakit ko sinabi na ang implied fair value gap is a statistical FPG? Bakit unang basis ko bakit siya statistical? It's because if you use the implied fair value gap or the volume profile, point of control is within that implied fair value gap. Hanapin natin yung implied fair value gap. Activate ko lang yung indicator para maintindihan. Ito yung implied fair value gap kanina sa 1 hour time frame. Actually, meron ding 45 minutes time frame yan. Nakita ko na yan kanina. So, kung mapapansin mo maigi, yung implied fair value gap na to, most based on my data, back test and forward test, yung implied fair value gap na to, makikita siya madalas na malapit sa point of control. Kaya yan yung isa sa rason bakit hindi na ako gumagamit ng ibang gumagamit ng fair value gaps kasi as someone who is in the statistics industry, nakita ko yung relationship na implied fair value gap sa volume profile to standard normal distribution. And most of the reversals ay nagkakaroon ng implied fair value gap. Tapos pag tiningnan mo yan sa different time frame, makikita mo na yung implied fair value gap na yon malapit sa point of control malapit siya sa point of control. From there, hypothesize ako, tinest ko actually I approach it statistically, talagang gumawa ko ng hypothesis na para lang patunayan siya at meron akong nakuhang resulta pero hindi ko lang naman siya pinapublish kasi for personal purposes lang siya. But statistically, I can confirm that implied fair value gap is a statistical fair value gap simply because the center of the distribution, especially if you're using volume profile, the implied fair value gap is usually close to that, if not exact, but very close to the implied fair value gap that you have identified. For volume profile traders, ang magiging entry nila dyan dito, meron tinatawag na dealing range high, dealing range low. Usually, kapag bumunta dito sa dealing range low, hanap sila ng entry para papunta sa point of control or pwedeng i-target nila tong dealing range high as their target, which is good. Kahit hindi man sila gumamit ng Elliott wave theory, pero nakikita ko pa rin yung relationship ng ng other strategies to Elliott wave theory. Kaya isa yun sa rason bakit ang main strategy ko talaga is Elliott wave theory kasi regardless kung sa mga inaral ko halos lahat ng trading strategies, meron akong meron siyang counterpart ng Elliott wave theory. Kaya naniniwala ako talaga na lahat ng trading strategy ay working. Kasi from someone who tried almost all, not just on a surface level, but nag-deep dive talaga ako sa iba't ibang trading strategies, na-realize ko na lahat naman ng trading strategies working. Nagkakatalo lang talaga sa mastery. Kapag wala kang mastery ng strategy mo, doon pumapasok yung nawawalan ka ng tiwala, baka mali yung inaral ko. Pero kung tutusin, ang dahilan talaga kung bakit hindi ka naging profitable sa ginagamit mong strategy kasi wala ka pang mastery. Yun lang ang personal opinion ko about it. So kung titingnan natin, medyo may magandang gain na kayo. Kasi sa akin, magandang gain na. Ewan ko lang sa inyo kung nakinig lang kayo or nanood lang kayo. Pero as of now, naka 1% na tayo. Kung gumamit ka ng 50% na leverage niyan, meron ka ng 50% profit. So congratulations in advance. Pero kung ako sa'yo, take profit mo na yan kasi itong 4 to 5 na to, dapat 5 waves up sa internal waves. So ibig sabihin, pwede pa yang bumagsak papunta
Narinig ko
sa
sabi, baka daw di sila makauwi.
yan, pwede siyang bumagsak close to your entry. Dito ka na lang maghanap ng entry ulit. Take profit mo to, hanap ka ng entry dito. Anyway, this is scalping. Depende naman kung ikaw ay scalper. Kung ikaw ay intraday, pwede mong hintayin hanggang matapos yung 5 waves dito. Kung ikaw na may scalper, pwedeng mag-take profit ka na to tapos hanap ka na lang ng entry dito. But as of now, positive na yung itinuro ko sa inyo at sinignal ko sa inyo. Okay. So yun lang, 12 o'clock na. It's lunch time for me. Magla-lunch out kami. So, thank you sa mga nakinig. Kung may natutunan kayo, please feel free to consider what I have shared. Hopefully, in the future, maisingit nyo yon sa trading system nyo. Hindi ko sinasabing gamitin nyo yung system ko. Ang sinasabi ko lang, consider other system na working naman talaga. Lunch out lang po ako. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
TY, Sir Jack.
Thank you, Sir Jack.
Thank you, boss.